Okay, pipe number 4, rev time. It does sound like you're about to launch off a rally stage. Like, it is pretty cool. Yeah. Drive by. All right, here we go. It's RS Fabs. I'm not sure if you watched the last video, but Russ here is such a dude. So we're gonna go and speak with Russ, and then we're gonna go out, back to back a load of exhausts, and we're gonna show you as well the layout, the physical construction of each modular system, and show you what it's all about. Seamless transition, fresh brew in hand. Look who's back, Russ.
Here we
Great
are
to see you
again.
mate.
Yeah.
You went down a storm on the last one.
Yeah, some comments about the Alice band, so no Alice band today.
It looks good. I like the band today.
Good
Suited
Lord.
you. So here we are.
Here we are.
Anyone who didn't watch the video before, I'm going to put a link in the description below, and you can go through, which is the walk and talk of RS Fabs and what Russ does here. Fascinating process in itself, but today is all about the main event, really,
That's
right?
correct.
So I think the process is we're going to get the car up on the ramp. Russ
Yeah.
is going to explain the fundamentals, really, of your system.
Yeah.
And then the idea is we're going to try and back-to-back the different modulations that you
Yeah.
guys offer.
That's
and we're
correct.
going to listen to the sound profile, take each option for a quick drive,
Yes.
and then decide which one we think will work best.
Right, I'll get it up in the air and
Great stuff.
I'll show you what we've done.
All right. Also, they make a cracking brew here too.
So,
I can already see there's a... So the last time we looked underneath your Yaris,
that's right.
things are looking dramatically different here, Russ.
Yeah, there is.
So
what we've done, when we originally got our car, we put a straight through pipe. So we used the car to manufacture the first pipe on using all the existing mounts. And then we took that testing. We obviously realised at that point it was way too noisy. So we backtracked from there where we made a jig,
Okay.
so we didn't have to use the car.
Yeah.
And then we decided where we were going to put the silencers. And it was at that point when we thought we'd do the modular system, so you could have the choice.
Right.
So effectively, we've got one jig that makes 4 different
Is
exhausts.
it 4?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. So,
So there's
got
4
all sorts of
different
options.
setups.
Right.
So this is the one we talked about last time, where you've got twin silencer setup,
Yeah.
the carbon tips, and that's what's currently on the car.
Mate, I could look at this welding stuff all day.
Right.
It's a shame to hide it under a car almost,
I know
isn't it?
it is. The initial setup on this vehicle is the twin silencer setup. So this is what we call the gentleman's setup, really, because it's the quieter one.
Oh, I mean, big difference straight away, huh? Sounds like a car now rather
Yeah.
than a Dyson.
That's right. So we go out and have a drive with this setup,
Sure.
then come back in and we'll swap the rear out
Yeah,
for the
brilliant.
straight through rear, and you can see the comparison. And then we go through and take the whole thing off and you can try all 4.
Okay, so we're on what Russ eloquently refers to as the gentleman's setup. Now, conveniently, we find ourselves driving immediately out of RS Fabs and through a little village, like a little town. And, you know, if you're going to live with one of these things, you don't want it to be obnoxious, do you, when you're driving out of your house in the morning or through a town like this. So this, I guess, entry, stage 1, as it were, of the audible appreciation test, so far, in this environment, it's good. It actually doesn't sound massively different to the standard car at this speed. However, the noise that you are hearing of the exhaust is now actual exhaust sound rather than the sort of synthetically pumped in audio that it used to be. So yeah, it's nice. That is nice. I haven't driven this thing for a few weeks and they're so much fun, these things. Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, I would class that as just being an okay sounding, like, it's nothing wild. It's definitely enhanced, but it's not crazy. Yeah, the thing you've got to remember is it depends specifically to each individual use case of how you're planning on using these cars. If you're going to commute in it and you're going to be on the motorway every day, just for example, what you don't want is a drone. Like, you don't want a heavy drone from what I imagine, and this might be too early to predict, but I imagine the straight through pipe which Russ offers might be the sort of thing that you look forward to enjoying at the weekend, if this was your sort of weekend pocket rocket. But if it was your daily, you might not want something that extreme, and I can already tell that if I was to run this thing every day, this might be that sweet spot. So, let's see. Ready? Yeah. It's like fruity enough, but not wild. Alright, so this is the gentleman spec, the standard exhaust system, and what would an exhaust video be without a bit of a rev? So let's go see how it sounds. Yeah, you know, gentlemanly. Drive by.
So, what do you think to that?
Yeah, I think it's how most people probably imagined it should have sounded from factory. You've lost that synthetic tone which used to be piped in.
That's right.
If you were to daily one of these, that would be a great setup.
That's right.
If it was your sort of weekend warrior, you might want something a bit more spicy. So let's see how it
you'll
goes.
be able to see the comparison.
Yeah.
Right, so what we've got now is the rear silencer with a straight through centre section. So from the engine it comes through the cat, then the particle filter, then through a straight section into the rear box.
Exhaust number 2. Let's see what this one sounds like. Okay. It's definitely a step up in the fruity department.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a bit more warmth to it as well, that one. There's a little bit more bass there than...
Yeah, like I was saying, the effective length of the silencer is longer than the previous one. Right.
Okay, well let's hop in and see what this one feels like. Yeah, through the town, I'm not feeling obnoxious. Yeah, so far it's okay. It's a little bit warmer. Not sure if the mic's picking up on it. When I say warmer, there's a bit more bass to it. It's not too much. Ready? Yeah, that's a nice tone. Yeah, I like this one. That's okay. It's okay. I actually quite like that. It's not too obnoxious, you know? It's definitely... You've got to remember what the stock one sounded like. And the fact that on this channel we're regularly featuring V12s and things like that. We mustn't get carried away. It's still a 3-cylinder, little turbocharged engine. And I think that's okay. There's enough new bass there. Yeah. Drive by.
But this is quite tricky to do because you've got to merge twin 2.5 into 3 and make it fit nicely so that you run your fingers inside, it's smooth inside.
Oh, it is, yeah. Brilliant.
So there's
awesome.
nothing hanging out in there. Should we put a pair of chrome tailpipes on that one for a change?
Yeah, why not? Let's have a look and see how they look.
It's a centre section silencer with a straight through rear.
Okay, yeah, that's different. Yeah, that's got a distinct bobble about it, hasn't it? A blip. Do you remember stage 1 when I drove through the town, and I was like, oh, it's nice that this one isn't so extreme that you could just drive through the village and not upset anyone. This is bordering on those, yeah, where you need to take off a little bit less throttle early in the morning, I think. It's definitely there. Okay, back to rev stage again. Let's see what we think about stage 3. This is such a fine balance because it does actually sound quite good. This exhaust is a funny one. It has undertones of max power about it, but it also has a lot of great tones depending on the rev range you're in. So sometimes you're like, oh, that sounds so sweet, and then other times you're kind of like, yeah, don't know right now. Could do without making that noise. It's a funny one. And again, so subjective, so personal. My instinct right now is number 2. But let's, for the fun of it, let's go and test out the straight pipe. Let's see what that's all about. We're now going from stage 3 to stage 4. This is effectively straight through, right?
This is straight through. So when we got our car at the end of last year, this was the first pipe that we made. We thought, well, we'll take them both off and see what we've got to start with. And we went testing with this, but then soon realised that maybe it was a step too far. Right. So that's when we started backtracking.
Yeah.
So I made the rear silencer and then continued and made the centre section silencer. And then we had the 4 configurations.
Right. So when I drive down the street in a minute, am I going to need to keep my head down a bit?
Possibly. Put your cap on. Okay. Ready?
All right, straight through. Go on, give it a bit. Oh. I mean, it's loud. Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Here we are.
Here we are. I mean, just even coming out of the blocks here, you can hear it. It's a different level, this one. We're out in the straight pipe. I'm like trying to creep through here. Listen to the bass. Look at that. It's funny because it's novel. It's the sort of thing I probably would have done as a teenager. Probably. With some neons. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But okay, pipe number 4, rev time. It does sound like you're about to launch off a rally stage. Like, it is pretty cool. Yeah. Drive by. This thing's got its moments, hasn't it?
It does have its moments.
I think it actually, honestly, there's times
I know
when you're like, this is actually quite good.
But if you had to live with it all the time,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
you know,
I
like you
say
say
there's
about
times.
the neighbour thing, when you start that up in the morning, it's
Well, when I left and when I returned, I was like,
keep your head down.
This was pipe 1.
Yes.
That one I like. This one, I think, if I look back to the beginning of the day, we referred to it as you might expect it to come from factory.
Yeah, as you would have expected it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
Okay.
this one kind of opens it up a bit by taking the centre silencer out.
Uh-huh.
So it's straight through in the centre, but retains the rear box. And then this one got a bit more raunchy, just because of the smaller and the less silencer length.
Yeah.
Because it's straight through at the rear.
It's funny because even though this is closer to 4 straight
Yes,
through,
yeah.
and I've had a riot with that.
Yeah.
Looking back at it, I thought I might have preferred this,
that.
but there was something, I don't know, because it was literally just combustion noise.
Yeah.
It felt more natural.
Cool.
I'm still thinking 2.
Yeah.
I think I am thinking 2, particularly if I want to take it to an event and I've got to drive it on a long
That's
distance
right.
somewhere. There was a
Yeah.
much less sort of motorway speed drone
Yeah.
off of that one.
It could drive you insane.
Yeah.
If you had to drive any
It
distance.
could do, yeah. And that's what I think it comes back to, is it's so personal to each person's use case of their car.
Yes,
If you're going
right.
to use it a lot, you probably don't want to go 3 or 4.
But the good thing is, if you went for a track day, you could change it. You see how
course.
quick it is to do
Yeah,
a
yeah.
change.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So you could have this one
Yeah.
and just stick it straight through in a matter of moments, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You could do a change and have it straight through.
Yeah.
That's the
No,
other
it's a-
benefit
yeah,
of
it's a-
the modular system.
That's a good point. So if you
Yeah.
if you get bored of the profile of it, you go, okay,
Yeah,
let's up it to 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well in that case, I might be back, but I reckon we're going to
That's
shake
what's
on that
going
one.
back on.
Yeah. Russ, I'm really happy, mate. Thanks
Super.
for honestly, thanks for your time, because I know
No,
it's
that's
been
good.
a bit of a thing
Yes. Yeah.
for your boys to keep swapping pipes.
Super.
Brilliant. Now I'm going to spend some time ragging it around the countryside, and who knows, I might come back for the full straight pipe one day.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We'll be
Super.
back.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Happy days.